Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Mel Stevens, used to be Blindness and Train Lover, and welcome to my first request vlog. I'm so excited. Okay, tonight's request vlog is going to be a request from my friend Rachel in the UK. Hi Rachel, mwah, blow you a kiss. This request that Rachel has put in is she wants to know the differences between living in rural Australia and a big city in Australia as being blind and vision impaired. So I'm going to start off with describing my childhood in said small country town. So where I live, the country town's population is about 5,000 people, and we are an hour and a bit, probably about an hour and 15 minutes drive from the CBD of one of the main cities in Australia. And the next major town north of our town is, I think, over, sort of 100,000 people. It's like a small city, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour's drive away. So we're kind of between two fairly big towns, one of them being a major city with over like 3 million people living in it. So I grew up in the small town with 5,000 people. I went to both high school and primary school. So for anyone in America or Canada who has those systems of schooling there, that is both elementary and high school. We don't have middle school in Australia, mostly. And both of those schools, I was probably the first blind child that they ever had. So they weren't really, there were challenges involved there. But I'm not going to talk about those particular challenges in this video. I'm just going to talk about the differences. And so I grew up, and most people in our country town were just used to us. I mean, we lived here for sort of 20, 25 years, and everyone just knows us. Walking into the shop with a guide dog is just the norm. No one batters an eyelid, basically. But when I moved to the city, that all changed. I was going into shops run by people who were from different ethnic backgrounds, who didn't understand the dog in the shop thing. I was going on public transport with people who, thought that having the dog inside the train was filthy, and I was going in taxis. Don't even get me started on taxis. And I was having to get used to the fact that a lot of the time people just didn't understand. They wanted to pat the dog all the time. They want to ask questions about the dog. People in the city, especially because I lived in a very culturally diverse part of the city, near a major university that took a lot of immigrant students, or a lot of, students that had just got in that are only doing the university and then going back to their home country. Not a lot of those cultures understood how it worked. So, and I found it pretty confronting having to being asked so many questions about, my dog, and, the differences and everything, and how it worked, and then having access issues on top of that, because that just wasn't something that I'd ever experienced living in the country. I have only ever been refused by a restaurant once, and that was at a Thai restaurant at a major shopping centre in the city. Not very far from my house, probably only about 4 or 5 kilometres from my house. I have only ever been refused or nearly refused in a taxi once, and that was in the city. I've never been refused taxis in my country town. I've never been refused to go into shops. I've never even had people try to pat my dog when they shouldn't in my country town, or at least people who are over the age of like 10 try and pat my dog, which is really different because in the city I have often been sitting on a train and I will notice, I will go to pat my dog and I will notice that the person sitting next to me or opposite me, is scratching his ears, and that is really, really annoying. I get really frustrated when that happens. So that's kind of one of the main differences. The other main difference is people ask you so often in the city, I found, whether you want help crossing roads, finding shops, doing anything. Whereas where I live in the country, the locals are just so used to it. The people at the club that we go to every Friday night for the members draw, they know us. Yes, we have, everyone has kind of designated a particular table where my parents and I sit, and everyone, the lady who sells the raffle tickets comes and sees us at our table instead of having to, go up and find her. The bloke who sells the other type of raffle tickets comes over and sells them to us. So the country town has adapted itself to us, but people don't ask you as much if you need help. I think around here, the locals know us more, as I said, and they don't tend to ask if we need help, my mum, dad and I, unless we look like we're struggling, because they're used to how the three of us function in the wider community. Whereas in the city, I found that people just asked you all the time, even if you were crossing a really busy street in traffic lights that had, maybe at least half a dozen other people crossing you, someone would try and grab you and take you across the road, even though you didn't need help. So that was the other main difference. There were obviously quite a few other differences, like, the amount of people, the amount of traffic. I really thought that I knew what the city was like because I used to go there quite a lot. I used to go to children's mobility camps through our guide dog organisation. I went to, family events and stuff in the city. I thought I knew what the city was like, but living there for a long period of time, it was over a year, was a huge shock to me. And it was just really different, and I didn't know, I don't really know how to explain how much of a shock it was. So yeah, if anyone wants to know, I will take the country over the city any day. Just leave me in the bush on my own with, a small town. Thank you very much. I think that's basically a wrap for this video. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and remember to push the notifications icon so that you get notified when I upload a new video. Between now and Tuesday night, think of questions that you want to submit to me in my live Q&A on the YouNow app. I will post a link to my YouNow profile on my channel description when I edit that. And also, if you are friends with me on Facebook, my YouNow link will be on there as well. So think of some questions that you want to have answered live on my YouNow app vlog, live Q&A next Tuesday night at 8:30. And also next week and the next 4 weeks, I will be doing a series. Someone asked me like 4 questions, and I thought, well, these are really great questions, and I'm going to do a series of 4 vlogs answering this person's questions. So once again, I want to say thank you to Rach for submitting your question. And guys, if you think of any other questions that you have between now and next week and the next few weeks, let me know. And also remember to tune in to my YouNow Q&A next Tuesday night at 8:30, and I'll answer any questions that you guys have from tonight's vlog. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. Bye.